You've painted up your lips and rolled and curled your tinted hair.
Thank you. I think can everybody hear? I mean, I've been blessed with a voice slightly louder than Peter's, so I'm quite nice. But I'd just like to say the first time that I met Peter, we've got a little sort of enclave with Annette, and Peter sort of came in latterly. And one evening we were talking, and Peter said, well, yes, I'm a solicitor. And I thought, fantastic. I said, I retired now, but I was a professional photographer. And I said, Peter, I am sick to death of people coming up and thrusting a camera at me and saying, can you take my photograph? I said, what do you do about it? He said, what I do, he said, if people do that to me, he said, when I've finished, I go back to the office and I talk to my girls and I send them a bill. What a bloody brilliant idea, I thought. So next time somebody came up and I said, could you take my photograph? I took it and I gave them a bill. And to be quite honest, Peter, £27.50 for that advice I think was worth it. It really was. The talking... What I have prepared, in actual fact, is a little bit of what Peter's second loves is deltiology. For those of you who don't know what deltiology is, I'm not going to go into the details. But Peter is a very renowned deltiologist on the web. And I thought, postcards, dear, postcards. Postcards have only been in since sort of the 1880s, 1890s. But what if they went back hundreds of years? What about if people wrote postcards that we should have heard about? So I've organised, or I've sort of researched these. These are all postcards that should have been sent that nobody ever heard of. And for those of you who don't know your history, I'm sorry, you're going to lose a little bit. The first postcard that I sort of dug out is to a Mrs. Smith of Liverpool in April 1912. It says, Dear Mum, love my new boat. Just left Queenstown on way to New York. Got to go and rearrange the deck chairs now. See you when I get back. Your son, Edward. See, there are a few historians about. This one's from the 1960s, 1969 to be precise, to a Mrs. L. Aldrin of New Jersey. Dear Lou, just arrived. Weather, nothing to write home about. Neil has just gone outside. Forgot to remind him about that big bottom step. Playing golf this afternoon, then cheese and biscuits for tea. Love, Buzz. Mrs. H. Godwinson of Hastings. Sweetheart, have arrived at the coast, waiting for William, late as usual. Hope he doesn't bring those flipping archers with him. They're going to have somebody's eye out one of these days. God be with you, Harold. Here's one for the historians. Mrs. Marjorie Ayscough. For those of you who don't know, that was Isaac Newton's grandmother that brought him up. Dear Grandma, it's such a lovely day here in the orchard. I think I will just sit under this apple tree and think about things. Ouch! What the fuck was that? Sorry, got to go to the hospital now. There's blood all over the place. Yours, Isaac Newton. Queen Elizabeth I, London, England. Liz, we'll call this new world Virginia after yourself. I'm sending back some tobacco and potatoes. My mate Reg says if you cut the potatoes into thick strips and fry them, call them chips and sell them from chip shops, we'll make a fortune. Don't think they will catch on myself. Your servant, Walter. Oh, there's a few more to come. Make yourselves comfortable. Dr. J. Watson, 221B, Baker Street, London. Had a very unusual case today. A man with a citrus fruit stuck up his bum. I deducted it was a lemon entry, dear Watson. Yours, Holmes, as he said. This is my particular favourite. This one took me ages. Miss Marion Fitzwalter, Nottingham. Dear Marion, have arrived at Camp Sherwood. It seems quite nice here. Lots of guys having a gay old time. Already made friends with Little John. Why they call him Little, I've no idea, because he's absolutely huge. We have our own camp vicar. He's called Tuck. I think I've spelt that correctly. Anyway, I think he has his pet terrier with him because he wants me to go dogging with him tonight. Alan Adale, one of the musicians, seems a bit odd though. He keeps hanging around the toilets playing with his lute. My friend Will Scarlett, a very snappy dresser, he's given me a lovely feather to put in my cap. He says he will help me out of my tights tonight when we go to bed. Anyway, have to go now. We're all going for a tramp in the woods. Love you, Robin. Colonel Archibald Christie, Surrey. Dear Archie, have arrived in Harrogate. Can't send this card just yet. Some bounder has stole my stamps. I will have to investigate. It might take some time. Love, Agatha. Get a little bit more up to date now. Miss Tana Ramsey, London. Oh, fuck, the fucking fucker's fucked. All my love, Gordon. Gordon Ramsay, Hell's Kitchen. Nice to see your English is improving. Love, Tana. And oh no, I've got another page here, I think. He said with a wry smile. Oh, look. Hope we're not bored. Oh, a nice one here. Madame Anne Nostradamus, St. Remy, France. 27th of the month of March will in itself be made. For in the year 1950, a son to Mr. and Mrs. Wade. I can't see this quatrain having any substance. Yours, Michelle Nostradamus. Major J. Tarrant, MC, Reading, Berkshire. Dear Dad, the weather here is, for £100, A, fine, B, fair, C, cold, or D, wet. And remember, you have no lifelines. Your son, Chris. Even more up to date now. Mr. William Gates, California. Hi, Bill. Have just invented my analytical engine for doing simple computations. What do you think? See you soon, Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage, Walworth, London. Dear Charlie, it'll never work. Stick to the abacus. Bill. Mr. Robert Wilberforce of Hull. What is it with all these black people constantly complaining about slavery? Or is it just mine? Your brother William. And bringing up the rear. To all at Wyman and Long, Clare, Suffolk. Hello all. Have met a lovely girl. Her name is Annette. I think she is a Monopoly champion or something. Have bought lots of houses, but no hotels as yet. Love, Peter. And finally, Mr. Peter Wade, Munnings Road, Colchester. Dear Peter, having a lovely day here in Clacton. Just seen a hotel for sale. What do you think, Annette? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'll carry on with my story. I'm just trying to remember where I was. Oh, yes. Richard Whitney. I met Richard in the early 80s when I was at Wade & Co. in those days in Tyndall Street, and he used to sell me print. And we didn't communicate for a few years. Then he met me again at Wayman and Long. He checked through his contacts diary, and we've been friends ever since. Myra and Rose down here, yes. Myra introduced me to Red. She's the first person who brought me here, and she contacted me from Victim Support. I was teaching at the time, and what happened was I got a letter from Victim Support, which I'd never heard of, and one of the students I was teaching at Chelmsford College, she wanted to join Victim Support, and I rang this woman and I said, "You want me to give a reference for this woman?" She said, "Yes." I said, "What does Victim Support do?" She says, "Well, they go and counsel victims after crimes." I said, "And this woman will be allowed to do this, will she?" They said, "Yes." I said, "No, I'm sorry, this woman's a nutter. Don't allow her anywhere near the victims." And after that, I saw a letter or an article in the local paper, and they were looking for volunteers for Victim Support, and that's when I met Myra, and I went on the course, and I became a volunteer. I went out to see a few people, but being a bloke, eventually I became chairman. Yes, that was right. Yes. Questions at the end, please. Thank you.